on cue, it's Valenzola for three. There's the active hands for Dahlgren again. This time she secures the steal. Absolutely dominant performance by the Lady Scarlet Hawks tonight, offensively and defensively. Kate Irwin, 1,000 points. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again inside the gymnasium at Milford High School, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call. Tonight we return to coverage of the Lady Hawks basketball team. The girls back at home tonight hosting a Davenport division rival in the Stoughton Lady Knights. Milford comes into the matchup at 0-9 overall on the season, currently in 6th place in the Davenport division standings, facing a team in Stoughton just one spot above them, technically in a three-way tie for 3rd place in the Davenport standings. Stoughton comes in at 2-8 overall on the season, 2-5 within league play, and sharing that 3rd place position with Sharon, who is at 4-7, and North Attleboro, who is also at 4-7, but all of those teams 2-5 within league play. So really, the theme of the Davenport division for many teams this season has been rebuilding year. Outside of perfect Foxborough, 9-0 on the season, and Canton, who currently stands at 6-3, everyone else in the Davenport is currently well below the 500 mark. So some programs struggling to implement new players, young, inexperienced players at their varsity rosters. And so a lot of teams sharing in the growing pains that Milford has faced over the course of this season so far. But of course, Milford still in search of win number 1 on the season. But certainly looking at the numbers between Milford and Stoughton this year, two teams relatively in the same spot in development overall on the season. Stoughton does have the 2 wins on the season, 2 more than Milford. But looking at their offensive and defensive numbers, they're the 2 lowest scoring offenses in the league, and in terms of points allowed per game, virtually identical. Stoughton allowing 58.2 points per game. Milford just a tick higher at 62.1. The big difference is in the points scored per game, where despite Stoughton being second from the bottom, they are averaging 41 points per game, whereas Milford is still averaging under 30 points per game at 27.3. So the key for Milford will be trying to get that points per game average up, trying to get above that per night average here tonight, as they hope to keep pace with Stoughton and finally come through with that first elusive win of the 2018-19 season. We'll see if they can get it done tonight. The Lady Hawks hosting the Stoughton Lady Knights. We'll have the opening tip when we come back next here on Milford TV. Time for basketball to get started here in Milford. Before we see the opening tip, let's go through the starting fives for both teams. First, for the visiting Stoughton Lady Knights, it is Sydney Hyacinth, Cheyenne Trin, Heather Madalena, Lindsay McDonald, and Hannah Holden. And for the Lady Scarlet Hawks, it is Carly Ferreira, Ashanti Barreto, Jillian Mickelson, Emma Lawrence, and Katie Maeda, as the opening tip gets deflected out of play. And you will notice senior captain Grace Rizzio not in the starting lineup. She is in street clothes on the bench, so apparently not available for tonight's action. So for Milford, they will have to go without their lone leader, and one of the few seniors on this roster. Of course, we've talked about it quite a bit in our previous broadcast, just the 2 seniors with Rizzio and also Lily Borst. So both on the sidelines right now as a very early foul comes in, less than 10 seconds in. Emma Lawrence at the line, missing the first free throw. The foul was called on Lindsay McDonald, one of the captains of this Stoughton team. Lawrence unable to connect on either free throw. However, Milford able to put it back. And so they end up making out in the exchange. And now on the other end of the floor, a quick turnover. So some positive things going Milford's way here in these early seconds. The ball right back into the hands of Lawrence. And Lawrence now trying to attack the basket, lost the dribble, now gets locked up as the ball comes loose, the jump ball. And possession arrow going in the way of the Lady Knights. Still in the opening minute of this first quarter, Milford taking an early lead. They were able to grab the first points of the night in their last contest against the Taunton Lady Tigers, but Taunton was able to go on a big run from there to run away and hide with the lead, and they did not look back. A 61-23 loss. As that shot is short, Lawrence grabs the rebound under the basket, and she'll head right back to the free throw line. That's Cheyenne Trin with the foul called. A lot of time for Lawrence to think about that free throw, and a complete hush falling over what is a sparse Milford crowd for the game tonight. And Lawrence able to make the second, so 1 out of 4 from the line early. Milford taking a 3-0 lead. Shanti Barreto quickly getting involved in the defense in the starting lineup here tonight. We've seen her predominantly off the bench, but she's been an energy presence when she comes out onto the court. Quick feed back outside from three-point range for Stoughton is no good, and Lawrence tracks down the rebound, but is then called for the travel. A good active Milford defense here early. Fresh shot clock for Stoughton as they get the inbounds pass inside to Sydney Hyacinth. And she gets the shot to fall. Put Stoughton on the scoreboard. Now the pass ahead, offline to Barreto. She had to leave her feet to try to pull it in. And possession ends up going back to the Lady Knights. These two teams split their matchups last season. Milford winning the first matchup here in Milford, with Stoughton claiming victory on their home floor. Stoughton was really able to come on late in the season last year. They were well below 500, but they were able to go on a significant winning streak that ended up allowing them right at the end of the season to sneak into second place in the Davenport and grab a playoff spot. So their program seeing positive steps last year, losing some players to graduation. Loose ball held onto by Stoughton. And Milford doing the little things underneath the basket, forcing the jump ball, and this time Milford with the possession arrow their way. Excellent commitment to defense here early for the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks. Now Lawrence has her pass deflected by Hyacinth out of play. Inbounds pass clean into Lawrence. Mickelson now with the feed inside to Maeda, no good. And a foul as Milford went up for the rebound. This time we'll see Carly Ferreira at the line. Milford getting some regular looks at the line early in this game, but not helping their own cause. Now just 1 out of 5. Ferreira making a miss to make it a 4-2 Lady Hawks lead. Stoughton looking a bit out of sorts. As Milford continues to put the pressure on, they are able to free the shot from the top of the key offline. Deep offensive rebound pulled down by Lindsay McDonald, and she gets the bucket. It's the spot on the floor that Stoughton has the clear height advantage as Emma Lawrence responds with a 3 attempt, no good. And Stoughton trying to transition quickly up the floor, but Cheyenne Trin losing the dribble. Ferreira will inbound. And we'll see our first substitution of the game now for Coach TJ Dolliver as Elise Fauerbach comes into the game replacing Katie Maeda. A 4-4 tie now as we go under 5 minutes to play in the first. And Lawrence, a little bit of indecision. She wanted to shoot the 3, then changed her mind, and too many steps. Good energy from the Stoughton bench as they're trying to get their offense to turn it on. Swing to the corner. Lawrence, active hands, ends up deflecting it out of play, where Stoughton will inbound with 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Into Hyacinth, and now it is Trin. Up to the basket, no good. Milford had the rebound, but couldn't hang on. Now dangerous pass into traffic, and Lindsay McDonald just barely able to pull it down. And with the shot clock expiring, Stoughton able to get that shot away in time. They were able to grab some rim. And the offensive rebound as well. The foul going against Elise Fauerbach. Free throws now for Lindsay McDonald. Up to 3 points now after she makes that first shot. And a lot of changes of personnel. 3 new faces coming out on the floor for the Lady Knights. Just a 1-point lead for Stoughton. Coming down to 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. Pressure in the basketball. And now the deflection out of play. And again, Milford loses control. Plenty of coaching from assistant Brian Mackey on the sidelines for the Lady Hawks. Imploring this team to continue the active defense. Katie Maeda back on the floor. She picks up the foul. It's just her first. Both of these teams getting plenty of looks from the free throw line in this first quarter. Lexi Baptista at the line now, as Milford will send Mickelson to the bench. And Adriana Crisafulli out onto the floor. Baptista, a clean look from the line. Puts Stoughton in a 3-point lead, up 7-4. 3:43 on the clock. And Lawrence again gets called for the travel. Lawrence, as always, wearing the emotions out on the sleeve, and after the turnover, Haley Egan makes it hurt as she nets a 3, and that puts Stoughton up now by 6 as Lawrence loses the dribble, loses her footing, but Milford able to maintain possession. Ferreira the long pass into the corner. Lawrence back out to Ferreira. She puts up the 3 offline. But there is Crisafulli to track down the rebound. Now Milford trying to thread a pass inside. Too many defenders in the neighborhood. And now Stoughton will pull up for the 3. And it's Sydney Hyacinth, who's now up to 5 points in the first quarter. And Stoughton going on a run here that forces Milford to call the timeout. And Emma Lawrence none too pleased as the timeout is called. A quick turn of the tide here in favor of the Stoughton Lady Knights. They take a 13-4 lead on Milford. We'll take the timeout as well. More to come in a moment here on Milford TV. .254 on the clock as we come back out of the timeout. It's quickly jumped out to a 9-point lead for Stoughton after Milford was able to take the first lead, keeping it close through the majority of this period. Here's Barreto now. Her shot is blocked, but Maeda is able to come through with 2. Milford trying to keep it close. This is a Stoughton team that has not had too many high point totals on the day. Here's Mickelson with a steal. Has one defender up the floor. can't convert on the layup. Here's Barreto, and she is able to put it back. Ashanti Barreto with her first points. Now 2 minutes to play in the first quarter as the ball deflects out of play. It will stay with Stoughton. Down to a 5-point lead for the Lady Knights. Hyacinth surveying her options. Barely gets that pass out to the far wing. And now it is Stoughton who turns it over. Barreto now takes the ball up the floor. Milford playing right now with Emma Lawrence on the bench, and there is Jillian Mickelson, who knocks down the three for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. The bench erupts. And it's down to just a 2-point game, so excellent response here late in the first quarter for Milford. And now Haley Egan, she is able to net her second three of this period. 16-11. Both these teams working hard through this first 8 minutes. And now the deflection, another turnover. Here is Mickelson trying to close in defensively. And Milford commits the foul. Looks like it might have been Krista Foley. I believe they will call it on Jillian Mickelson. That was her first foul committed. Milford eventually getting the personnel they want on the floor. This is Aaliyah Wright at the free throw line for Stoughton. She grabs her first 2 points. She's been Stoughton's best scorer of the season and one of the top scorers in the Hockomock League. Lawrence back out on the floor for Milford. Maeda fights through a double team. And instead of calling the foul, they will call jump ball with possession going to Stoughton. The Hawks not liking the call on the sidelines. 43 seconds to go. And Stoughton turning the basketball over again. Back into Ashanti Barreto with 40 seconds left in the period. Mickelson cannot quite find Ashanti Barreto, who goes down hard. Lady Hawks having trouble getting those passes into the low post. Back outside to Wright. Wright gets away from Barreto. Now sends the pass along to Heather Madalena. The ball momentarily popping loose. And the foul committed by Madalena. 5 fouls for Stoughton, 4 for Milford through this first quarter. Milford an opportunity here to play for the final shot. Barreto taking some time off. She stood there. A little curious. Now Milford trying to turn on the Jets. They do not get a shot away as the ball is knocked loose. I'm not sure if Barreto thought there was less time on the clock than there was. She seemed like she was poised there, ready to allow the remainder of the clock to tick down, then realized how much time there was. So Milford is unable to get a final shot in here before the end of the first quarter, but all things considered, a good start for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. They trail it by 7, but 11 first quarter points. That's got to be one of their better offensive periods of the season for a team that is averaging less than 30 points a game. So a good start. We'll see if they can build on that in the second quarter. We'll have that for you right after this here on Milford TV. Second quarter getting started here in Milford. A 7-point advantage for the visiting Stoughton Lady Knights. As the pass from Barreto to Emma Lawrence goes wide and deflects out of play. So you can see those fundamentals that the Lady Hawks are continuing to work on and continuing to try to get more comfortable with in game action. Pass just barely handled by Cheyenne Trin. She gets the ball back here. Now the pass to Aaliyah Wright. She feeds it inside as the shot clock ticks down to 5 seconds left. They were able to get the open look from the near wing. It rims out. Rebound up for grabs. It ricochets to Ashanti Barreto. She heads up the floor with speed. Stoughton able to get back. And Barreto now takes it in, tries to get the bank off the glass, no good. Initial rebound deflecting to Hannah Holden. Ferreira coming in to try to fight for it. One minute into the second quarter action now. The pass inside to Lindsay McDonald. She's able to get the easy bucket. 5 points for McDonald in the quarter. Mickelson, who's knocked down a 3 in this half. Looked like she wanted to release another there. Here's Ferreira with a long 2. She hits the back of the rim. And now Wright with a quick release. She's offline on the shot. And a foul committed before the shot. And that will send Stoughton back to the free throw line. Milford over the limit now. A second foul on Jillian Mickelson. Free throw miss. Stoughton able to get the rebound. Missing the second chance bucket, but off the deflection, they get it back. Now again, Trin with the open look from the near wing. She does not miss. And the lead now double digits for Stoughton as Emma Lawrence gets trapped in the backcourt. And Milford not giving her much support. And now Wright takes it all the way to the rim, no good. Fortunate for Milford. Now Lawrence ahead for Krista Foley, gets it back. And that is at least the third traveling violation called against Emma Lawrence in this first half. Score at 23-11 in favor of the Lady Knights. Trin dribbles it out. Now trying to find Sydney Hyacinth with the pass, but Mickelson picks it off and goes coast to coast for the bucket. 5 points in the half for Jillian Mickelson. Now Trin in some trouble. Stoughton now pinned. They get it back out. Here's Aaliyah Wright. A lot of quick passes for Stoughton. Lindsay McDonald able to come away with points. She is the leading scorer right now for this Lady Knights group. 7 points. As now Milford draws the contact. It's a 12-point lead for Stoughton. Milford trying to stay within striking distance. Lawrence again, a little indecisive. Results in the ball getting knocked loose. Krista Foley tried to track it down, but turns it over. Coach Dolliver looking for the explanation. So they called Milford for the backcourt violation, and you could see Coach Dolliver, who rarely argues with the officials, saying that it wasn't even close. She kept body position, reached for the ball, but the officials not changing the call. .428 left as that pass is deflected. Stoughton hangs on. Milford pesters on the inside as that pass goes back up top. And count it from three-point range for Sydney Hyacinth. Gets some good bounces to go her way. Lawrence feeling the pressure in the backcourt. Gets the pass to Mickelson. Now up ahead to Carly Ferreira. Bounce pass trying to find Maeda. And now Lawrence back up the floor, nearly pulled off the steal. This team's taking chances with passes on both sides of the floor. Too many turnovers to count here in the first half between both schools combined. Here's Lawrence now, a good look from three. Thought she received contact after. And Coach Charmaine Steele-Jordan of the Stoughton Lady Knights calls the timeout. That stops the clock with 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the second quarter. The lead starting to grow now for Stoughton. Milford trying to keep pace. Milford trailing 28-13 here on coverage of Milford Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Just over 3.5 minutes left in the first half. It's a 15-point lead right now for Stoughton. Their speed starting to wear down this Milford defense that has been very active throughout the half. And Lawrence once again giving it up on the travel. A lot of raw talent for Lawrence. Just trying to hone everything in. Maeda holding her ground underneath the basket. The result, Milford possession. Barreto got pinned down in the back. Tried to find Carly Ferreira with the pass, but Stoughton there to pick it off. First free throws of the night for Sydney Hyacinth. Goes 2 for 2. Stoughton 7 for 8 from the free throw line in this first half. Milford 2 for 6. And here's Mickelson. She's able to generate a turnover. Tries to go all the way to the hole. Stay Milford basketball with just 5 seconds off the shot clock. Lawrence heads back to the bench. Ferreira trying to find a pass partner, but ends up delivering it right into the hands of Stoughton. And another foul committed on the other side of the floor. The foul's really mounting for Milford in this first half. Fauerbach now with 2 fouls in the period, or excuse me, 2 fouls in this first half. And a rare free throw miss for Stoughton, with Haley Egan at the line, who came off the bench to drain a couple of threes in the first quarter. The lead for Stoughton has ballooned out to 18, and now Fauerbach able to give Milford a little bit of momentum, grabbing her first bucket. And now Milford able to jar the ball loose, 2:18 to play. Here's Mickelson. Jillian Mickelson has looked good in this half. It's been much more aggressive. Jumper too strong. And Stoughton able to keep that one from going out of play. Another three for Sydney Hyacinth, this time no good. Milford hoping to chip away. There's Fauerbach, had a lane to the basket, but sent the pass back outside. Here's Maeda from out on the perimeter, takes a couple of dribbles inside. Could not bank it home. Now Mickelson back defensively. Wright pulls up for the jumper, misses, and then Mickelson and Hyacinth get locked up for the jump ball. It will stay with Stoughton. And Lily Borst now will check into the game, replacing Maeda. Long pass into the far corner. No good. Rebound Mickelson. With speed again, up the near side. Now dishes back out to Barreto, and Barreto loses control. And they're going to call the foul on Ashante Barreto, who now has 3 fouls in the half. Milford playing a man down in this game with Grace Rizzio, the captain, not able to go tonight. So Barreto now to the bench with those 3 fouls. All of the points for Lexi Baptista in this half have come from the free throw line, 3 out of 4. Emma Lawrence back out onto the floor as we tick down to the final minute of play in the first half. That pass out of the reach of Lily Borst. Hyacinth trying to make it hurt with the 3 ball. Stoughton continuing to keep pressure in the backcourt. It has worked in their favor as this half has gone on. This time the pass ahead to Fauerbach, and now she gets fouled. Milford will head to the line trying to get some better results. This is the first trip to the line for Elise Fauerbach. Trying to cut it back down to a 15-point lead. And the lane violation. The shot did not fall anyway, so it stays a 16-point margin inside of the final minute of the second quarter. Now the ball knocked free. It was deflected. And Milford not quick to react there. As we see another deflection, this ball goes out of play. Mickelson getting her hand in there. 7 seconds left on the shot clock, 28 seconds left in the half. Now just 2 seconds left. Will they get a shot off? They don't. And Milford with excellent defense there. The shot clock now turned off as this will be the final 20 seconds of the half. Long pass. Trying to find Jillian Mickelson. Nine seconds left. Lawrence was calling for it as she worked her way inside. Stoughton turning it over, but then giving it right back as Stoughton lost the dribble, or did they? Was it a deflection? So it will be Milford ball with just 4.3 seconds into Emma Lawrence. She will take the deep three and can't get any love from the rim. It was just short, looked like it maybe would bounce through, but no such luck. So we will head into the half with Stoughton up on Milford 32-16. Milford not out of it. Needing to generate a little more offense and needing to cut down on the turnovers in the second half. We'll see if they can do it. We'll break for the half and have the start of the third quarter for you next here on Milford TV. Welcome back inside the Milford Gymnasium. Second half action, getting underway between the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks and the Stoughton Lady Knights. Tim Coet with you on this Friday evening. It is a 32-16 lead for Stoughton over Milford. Milford was able to carry a lead through the early minutes of the first quarter. Then Stoughton was able to take over. Milford cut it close late in the first quarter, but Stoughton outscoring Milford 14-5 in the second to help build up this current lead. A lot of turnovers for both teams, and right on cue, we see one here in the first minute of quarter number 3. Stoughton unable to capitalize. Lawrence nearly pulled down the board. And Stoughton does end up getting called for the foul. Heather Madalena getting called for the foul, and that is 3 for her. She stays out there for the moment. And timeout called by the official, as apparently some moisture on the floor underneath the basket. Just 36 minutes into the second half. Milford trying to carve into a 16-point deficit. Milford to inbound in front of the Stoughton bench with 24 seconds on the shot clock. Just as we saw as the first half went on, Stoughton applying plenty of pressure in the backcourt. Milford succumbing to that pressure a lot, in particular in the second quarter. "14 seconds on the shot clock as Milford is finally able to advance. Ferreira and Lawrence with a give and go, but Lawrence's shot is blocked on the way up. And now Aaliyah Wright on the other side of the floor. Wright very quiet. Sydney Hyacinth, however, able to have more success. Hyacinth leading all scorers in the first half with 10 points. Stoughton with a couple of players with 7 apiece. Haley Egan and Lindsay McDonald. Cheyenne Trin and Lexi Baptista with 3, and Aaliyah Wright with just 2 points, both of them coming from the free throw line in the first half. McDonald now at the free throw line. And goes 2 for 2. Stoughton has been very steady at the free throw line. Now the steal. And looping the pass in under the basket, and McDonald now on her own personal 4-0 run. So Aaliyah Wright, who came into the game averaging over 13 points a game, which was good for 4th in the league. Just behind the likes of Allie Brigham, Caitlin Malika, and also Julia Feed of North Attleboro, who we have not had a chance to see here in the Milford gym. Milford doing a good job holding her in check. However, it's been the supporting cast for Stoughton that has been up to the challenge. Katie Maeda at the line now for Milford. She had 2 first-half points. And is able to get 1 out of 2 from the line. Milford's leading scorer in the first half was Jillian Mickelson, who had 5 points. Emma Lawrence and Elise Fauerbach both with 3. Ashanti Barreto and Katie Maeda with 2. Carly Ferreira with a single point. Ferreira can't get free from outside. Now Lawrence, her 3 is no good. And now quickly ahead in transition, Stoughton misses the shot. It was Sydney Hyacinth. Lawrence, Maeda, Ferreira, Crisafulli, and Mickelson, the 5 on the floor right now for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. Crisafulli with quick hands nearly pulled off the steal, but Stoughton able to recover for the shot attempt. The second chance effort no good from right. And finally, Milford able to get a defensive rebound. Lawrence swinging it to the near wing for Maeda. Dribbles her way inside and gets fouled. 3 fouls on Stoughton so far in the third quarter, and now we'll see the return of Ashanti Barreto with Crisafulli heading to the bench. Ashanti Barreto with 3 fouls. Ferreira just barely getting that pass in to Lawrence, who couldn't get a clean handle. Unfortunately, after the jump ball, the possession arrow keeping it with Milford. Now able to swing it into Katie Maeda, and now back outside for Mickelson. Now Maeda again gets around 1 defender and gets the layup. Maeda accounting for all 3 points Milford has scored so far in the quarter, but a quick response for Stoughton, courtesy of Hannah Holden. Now Mickelson ahead to Barreto. Barreto attacking inside. Off balance shot, no good. 4:48 left in the third quarter as Wright goes up and gets the contact from Lawrence. It's just the first foul for Emma Lawrence. Leah Wright waiting to shoot free throws. A brief pause in the action. There was some communication with Athletic Director Peter Boucher. Not sure if perhaps there is a fan conduct issue that is being sorted out. But meanwhile, the free throw's good from Aaliyah Wright, who's done all of her work from the line so far tonight. Up to 40 points now for Stoughton. So they are certainly going to go above their per game average of 41.4. Certainly not good news for Milford. The Lady Hawks able to score 11 first quarter points. As you can see, they have managed just 8 since. Mickelson finding Lawrence under the basket. A couple of attempts. 3 defenders draped around her, and finally she gets the foul. Good hard-nosed work under the basket for Lawrence. Now Mickelson, the quick release off the inbounds. She gets fouled. They call it on Heather Madalena, and that is going to be her 4th foul. So in real trouble, and this will likely send her back to the bench. As Mickelson makes the first free throw, this is her first trip to the line in this game. One out of 2 at the line, and now possession for the Lady Knights with 4:20 to play in the third quarter. Wright gets it inside to Lexi Baptista, who misses on the shot. Milford pushes Ferreira. Quick 3. And now Wright hoists up a deep 3. And there is her first points from the floor. The Stoughton bench loves it as Stoughton extends it now to a 23-point lead, and now the turnover. Milford trying to get back with numbers. No foul under the basket. Ferreira a little bit slow to get to her feet. Looks like she is in some pain. Went down hard. Looks like she might have been favoring her lower back. And Coach Dolliver is going to go ahead and call the timeout, stopping the clock with 3 minutes and 29 seconds left in the third quarter. It is a 43-20 lead for Stoughton over Milford on this coverage of Milford High School girls basketball on Milford TV. Milford with the ball coming out of the timeout. Another dangerous inbounds pass that ends up deflecting into the hands of Cheyenne Trin. Traffic up ahead for the Lady Knights as Lexi Baptista is fouled. It's just the second miss from the line for Baptista. She's able to make the second. 4 out of 6 from the free throw line in the game. And again, an adventure getting the ball up the floor, but eventually they're able to get Mickelson in position from 3. Milford struggling to get their shooters any kind of open looks. Ferreira trying to hoist one up from 3, and meanwhile, Cheyenne Trin off to the races, able to get in front of the Milford defense and put it in for an easy 2. Milford on the verge of another turnover. Lawrence struggling to hold on. She ends up getting fouled. Ferreira and Maeda heading to the bench. Lily Borst back out onto the floor, as is Elise Fauerbach. Lawrence continuing to struggle from the line. It's been a problem for the leading scorers on both the boys and girls basketball teams this season. Lawrence struggling from the line. We've seen the struggles from Brendan White on the boys' side. Shot clock winding down. And Stoughton sticking with it. Camille Furman into the game off the bench. She gets on the score sheet. And Stoughton continuing to put this game firmly out of reach of the Lady Scarlet Hawks with still 2 minutes to go in this third quarter. And Barreto takes the foul. Two fouls on Camilla Furman, who just came through with that bucket. And short on the free throw attempt, but there's Elise Fauerbach. She cleans it up. 5 points in the game now off the bench for Fauerbach. And Stoughton commits the turnover. Now Adriana Crisafulli back onto the floor. So Coach Dolliver bench heavy right now. 3 of his subs out there. Borst doing her best to fight for that one underneath the basket. Coming down to the final 90 seconds of the third quarter. Look the pass into Camille Furman, who now has 4 points late in this third. Barreto ahead to Crisafulli, now offline on the pass attempt, looking for Fauerbach. Now Lawrence getting back. She thought she had all ball on the block. Stoughton now up to 50 points, a chance to tack on to that. And they do with the first free throw of Cheyenne Trin. Trin keeps an excellent free throw shooting game going for Stoughton. Head to Borst. Almost loses the dribble. Elise Fauerbach to the free throw line. Milford now stares up at an even 30-point deficit. Camille Furman heads to the bench for Stoughton. They will send Amaya Morris onto the floor. Long-range shot offline for Trin. Ashanti Barreto goes down hard. Looks to be a little ginger as she heads down the floor. She landed awkwardly on the basketball. It's the 10th foul of this third quarter for Stoughton. First point since the first quarter for Ashanti Barreto. The make and the miss. Stoughton letting it fly from 3. And Olivia O'Neill, who just checked into the game for the first time, is able to get her hands on the ball briefly and gets fouled, and now we'll have a chance from the free throw line. Both teams over the limit. O'Neill 1 for 2. Milford again struggling to get across that midcourt line. And they call Cheyenne Trin for the push. She has 3 fouls. Starting to feel like just about everybody on the Stoughton team has 3 fouls by now. Milford now 7 for 19 from the free throw line in this game. And you would think that with the way that this game has gone to this point, we're going to see a lot of the fourth quarter play out from the free throw line. Hannah Papagno time winding down for Milford. They release the shot, no good. 2 seconds left for Stoughton. Aaliyah Wright from half court doesn't quite have the distance. And so that will send us on to the fourth quarter now. The scoreboard continuing to get lopsided in favor of Stoughton. 55-24, they lead it. 8 minutes to go in this game. We'll start the fourth quarter next here on Milford TV. Welcome back for fourth quarter action here in the Milford gym. Tim Coet with you on the call on this Friday evening. A 31-point deficit now for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. That ball deflected into the backcourt. Stoughton able to track it down. And then ahead for the shot from Haley Egan, who picked up 7 points in the first half, 6 of them in the first quarter from behind the three-point line. Now Ferreira inside. Couldn't get enough elevation. Now here is Aaliyah Wright. Dishes off. And there are points for Egan to get this fourth quarter going. Now Ferreira inside to Fauerbach. Now Ferreira tries to force the issue inside. He's able to get the ball back and get 2. The first points from the floor for Carly Ferreira. She now has 3 on the night. As Loretta Munoz-Edwards is called for the foul. I believe I mistakenly referred to her as Amanda Morris, who is 35 on the bench for Stoughton. My apologies. Now it's Egan again. Four early points in this fourth quarter for Egan. And now Mickelson losing control, but it deflects right to Fauerbeck, who now takes the shot inside. Now Egan again. A lot of play directed towards Haley Egan on the Stoughton side of the floor early on in this fourth quarter. Here's Lawrence from three. Now ahead again to Egan. And she connects. She had 6 points in the first quarter, now 6 points through the first 2 minutes of this fourth quarter. Lawrence from the free throw line, too short. And Fauerbeck and Olivia O'Neill lock up for the loose ball. Milford rewarded with possession. Still playing hard, despite another lopsided score. Pass deflected out by Stoughton. Milford now will send it in from in front of the near side bleachers. A deep three for Jillian Mickelson. Barreto gets the rebound, can't get it back. O'Neill dishes back outside to Papagno. Now Leah Wright tosses up a contested shot that went partway down and then rimmed out. Stoughton eventually able to pick up the foul. And that will send Loretta Munoz-Edwards to the line. One of the seniors on this roster, along with Hannah Holden, Lindsay McDonald, Haley Egan, Heather Madalena, and Olivia O'Neill. So a good amount of seniors on this roster. Committing a violation on the second free throw attempt. There's Barreto, and they'll call it a jump ball. This time it'll go to Stoughton. Ball jarred loose under the basket. Milford comes away with it. Barreto, the long pass to Mickelson, wanted to release the three. Now back to Barreto. She gets fouled. Barreto 2 for 6 from the free throw line tonight. Can't secure the rebound, and that allows Aaliyah Wright to come in and clean things up. Mickelson called for the travel. Milford will be back at home again coming up on Tuesday against the Oliver Ames Lady Tigers. Oliver Ames on the season at 6-3. Part of a logjam in the second place position in the Kelly Rex division with King Philip and Mansfield. 4 teams above the 500 mark in the Kelly Rex standings. Franklin at 8-1, King Philip at 6-2, Mansfield at 6-3, Oliver Ames at 6-3. Taunton just a game under at 5-6, and then it's Attleboro, who lost a lot of their seniors from last year's team, similar to Milford. They are at 3-8, trying to battle some of those very tough Kelly Rex teams. Under 3.5 minutes to go. Milford trying to get over that 30-point mark. Right now they're right at their per-game average at 27. Long pass to Mickelson. Shot clock running out. Barreto now losing her footing. Fauerbeck releases the shot, and it's no good. Now the ball deflecting to Edwards. Now Crisafulli to Fauerbeck. She had a good look and gets it to rattle through. Eight points in the game now for Elise Fauerbeck. And now Loretta Munoz-Edwards answers with 2 of her own. That's her first bucket. And now Elise Fauerbeck saving that ball from going out of play. Unfortunately, she directed it right to Stoughton. Seen a lot of good things from Elise Fauerbeck in this game. And with every game that we've covered, we've seen some positives that Milford can take away. It's just a matter of putting everything together, and most notably, really, the turnovers. Milford needing to get a handle on the turnovers. It has been a problem throughout the season, a big problem in this game tonight. Lily Borst will come back out onto the floor, replacing Ashanti Barreto. Into Mickelson. No good on the shot. Up ahead to Haley Egan for Stoughton. There's the ball knocked away. Now Mickelson and O'Neill get locked up. And the jump ball sends possession to Milford with 1:41 left. Lawrence looking for a quick give and go with Crisafulli, but did not receive the pass back. Now leaves it outside for Mickelson. Takes a couple of dribbles inside and gets the shot. It's Mickelson's first points from the floor in the second half. Lawrence a defensive rebound. Milford over the 30-point mark. Here's Lawrence. Shot looked good, but just didn't land. It was a struggle tonight for Lawrence. Just 3 total points. Mickelson trying to net her second 3 of the game, but cannot get it. Under 30 seconds to go now as the ball is turned over. Shot clock now turned off. As Fauerbeck goes up for the shot and gets fouled. She'll have a chance to tack on to her point total at the line. Fauerbeck right now the scoring leader for the Lady Hawks. Ups that total to 9, making the second of her free throws. And just 14 seconds left, so an opportunity for Stoughton to dribble out the rest of the clock, but instead they get called for the travel. And the final 10 seconds now. And Lily Borst with an open look. She can't connect. And this will do it the final 2 seconds, and Stoughton decides to heave one up right at the buzzer. It is no good, and that is that 67-32. Stoughton able to come into the Milford gym and walk away with a victory. So with that win, Stoughton improves to 3-8 overall on the season, and with the loss, Milford now drops to 0-10 on this 2018-19 season. That will wrap up our coverage. Mike Sperling on hand here helping out, and I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, 67-32. Milford falls to the Stoughton Lady Knights. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.